The Galactic Order had endured centuries of fragile peace, a confederation of species bound by mutual necessity rather than trust. When Earth was inducted as its newest member, few paid attention. The humans were a young species, unremarkable in size, numbers, or technology. Their arrival caused little more than a ripple in the galaxy's vast expanse. Still, humanity sent an envoy to the capital station of Tavax Prime to represent their fledgling presence. Ambassador Jonathan Hale, a former soldier turned diplomat, embodied Earth's best qualities: resilience, adaptability, and unyielding belief in dialogue over conflict. His appointment was controversial on Earth. Critics called him overly idealistic, but Hale insisted that words, not weapons, would define humanity's place among the stars. The summit was a grand affair, attended by delegates from dozens of species, each cloaked in their culture's trappings. Hale's speech was the highlight of the event, a stirring call for unity. "We may be small, but we bring a unique strength," Hale declared, his voice steady as it carried through the grand chamber. "The strength to bridge divides, to learn from each other, and to stand together against any threat." But not everyone welcomed humanity's message. Among the assembled was Zalvran, a high-ranking member of the Krell Dominion, a species known for their territorial aggression and disdain for newcomers. To the Krell, Earth was a threat, not in power, but in potential. A united galaxy would diminish their dominance, and the idea of humanity as a rallying point was intolerable. As Hale finished his address, the room erupted in applause, though not all were genuine. Zalvran stepped forward, his hulking form towering over Hale. "Your words are eloquent, human," he said, his tone cold and mocking. "But words alone do not shape the galaxy. Strength does." The moment was tense but passed without incident. At least, that's what it seemed. Later that evening, during a private gathering in one of the station's arboretums, Hale was ambushed. Witnesses reported a single Krell assassin, cloaked and swift, emerging from the shadows. The attack was silent and surgical, a blade plunging into Hale's chest before anyone could react. The assassin vanished as quickly as they appeared, leaving chaos in their wake. Hale collapsed, his blood staining the pristine floor. By the time medics arrived, it was too late. The envoy's last words, whispered to his stunned aide, were simple: "Do not let this divide us." News of the assassination spread like wildfire. On Tavax Prime, some species expressed outrage, calling it a barbaric act. Others, including the Krell delegation, offered carefully worded condolences while denying any involvement. Many dismissed the incident as a tragic but inconsequential event, a minor power flex against a powerless species. Earth's delegation responded with eerie calm. They withdrew from the summit without protest, refusing interviews and declining calls for immediate retaliation. To the galaxy, it seemed as though humanity had retreated, cowed by the loss of their representative. But beneath the surface, something stirred. In the silence of their withdrawal, the humans began to plan. The assassination of Ambassador Hale was not merely an attack on an individual. It was a declaration of humanity's place in the galaxy. And Earth, underestimated and overlooked, was about to show the galaxy exactly what that place would be. The stars would remember Jonathan Hale, not for his death, but for what came after. The silence that followed Earth's withdrawal from the summit was deafening. No official statements, no demands for justice, no visible retaliation. To the galaxy, humanity's response seemed to be one of submission. Some species, relieved to avoid escalation, dismissed Earth as a weak and inconsequential player. The Krell Dominion, emboldened by the lack of immediate consequences, interpreted the silence as confirmation of their superiority. But Earth was not silent out of fear. In the shadows of their diplomatic retreat, a storm was brewing. On Earth, the United Global Council convened in an emergency session. Its leaders gathered in a reinforced chamber beneath the Pacific Ocean. The holographic image of Admiral Rachel Sato, commander of the Earth Space Fleet, dominated the room. "We have confirmed Krell involvement," she began, her tone cold and precise. The assassin was identified as a member of the Dominion's covert operatives. Their leadership sanctioned this as a message, a warning to humanity to know its place. President Elias Moreau leaned forward, his face etched with grief and anger. "And what is our place, Admiral?" "With respect, sir," Sato replied, "our place is wherever we decide it to be. But this cannot go unanswered." The council debated for hours, weighing the risks of retaliation against the necessity of defending Earth's honor and security. Some argued for caution, fearing the consequences of defying a power as entrenched as the Krell. Others, fueled by Hale's death and humanity's long history of resilience, demanded action. In the end, a decision was reached. Earth would respond, not with reckless vengeance, but with calculated strength. 3 days later, Earth made its move. A transmission was broadcast across the galaxy, appearing simultaneously on every major communication network. The screen showed President Moreau, his expression somber yet resolute. "People of the galaxy," he began, his voice steady. 3 days ago, Ambassador Jonathan Hale was murdered in an unprovoked attack. This was not just an assault on one man, but on the values we bring to this alliance: peace, cooperation, and mutual respect. He paused, letting the words sink in before continuing. "To the Krell Dominion, we have heard your message. Here is ours. Humanity values peace, but we will not tolerate violence without consequence. Let this be clear: Earth will defend itself." The broadcast ended with a single, chilling statement. "To those who stand with justice, we invite you to join us. To those who choose violence, know this: humanity has survived worse than you." The galaxy reeled. Some species dismissed the statement as bravado, but others began to take notice. Earth's silence had not been weakness. It had been preparation. Behind the scenes, Earth mobilized. The Human Defense Fleet, once seen as a rudimentary force, unveiled advancements that shocked military analysts: stealth technology capable of cloaking entire fleets, drone swarms that operated with near-sentient precision, and energy shields that outperformed even the most advanced alien defenses. But Earth's most powerful weapon was not technology. It was strategy. Admiral Sato orchestrated a series of surgical strikes against Krell outposts, targeting supply lines and communication hubs with pinpoint accuracy. Each attack was swift, devastating, and left no room for misinterpretation. The Krell Dominion, accustomed to overwhelming their enemies with brute force, struggled to counter Earth's calculated approach. The humans fought like they had nothing to lose, but with a precision that suggested they had everything to gain. As the Krell scrambled to contain the damage, whispers spread throughout the galaxy. Humanity's response was not just about vengeance. It was a declaration of intent. Earth was no longer the quiet newcomer. It was a rising power, one that demanded respect. And as the stars watched, many began to wonder, if this was humanity's response to a single death, what would they do if pushed further? The Krell Dominion had underestimated humanity. Their initial confidence eroded with each surgical strike. What they had anticipated to be an inconsequential skirmish spiraled into a full-scale reckoning. Earth's forces moved with precision and purpose, targeting Krell military installations and crippling their supply chains. Yet, humanity's retaliation remained disciplined. Civilian casualties were meticulously avoided. It wasn't just war. It was a message. Earth was not a savage, vengeful species, but one that demanded accountability with calculated resolve. Admiral Rachel Sato stood on the command deck of the flagship Aegis. The holographic projection of a Krell battle group hovered before her, red markers indicating vulnerable positions. The Dominion had concentrated their fleets in a desperate attempt to defend key sectors. It was a predictable move. "Admiral, the Krell have fortified their position near the Syrinx Nebula," said Commander Elena Vargas, her second-in-command. "They're baiting us into a direct engagement. They think we'll fight on their terms," Sato replied, her voice calm. "We won't." She turned to the operations officer. "Deploy the Viper drones to Sector Gamma. Cut off their retreat routes. Once that's done, we move to Phase 2. The bridge hummed with activity as Sato's orders were carried out. Earth's strategy was not to annihilate the Krell, but to dismantle their dominance piece by piece. This was not just about justice for Jonathan Hale. It was about reshaping the galaxy itself. Meanwhile, the Krell leadership grew increasingly desperate. In their arrogance, they had alienated many factions within the Galactic Order. Now, those same factions watched from the sidelines, unwilling to come to their aid. Some even began discreetly offering support to Earth, seeing an opportunity to weaken the Krell's grip on the galaxy. On the Krell homeworld of Raskin, Supreme Chancellor Zorth convened a council of his top generals. The room was tense, the air thick with frustration and unease. Humanity's persistence is intolerable, Zorth growled, slamming a clawed fist onto the table. We are the Krell. We have crushed species far mightier than them. How is it they defy us? General Tarkon, a seasoned veteran, spoke carefully. They do not fight like others. They adapt, outthink us, and strike where we are weakest. This is no mere skirmish. They are waging a war of attrition, and we are losing. Zorth's rage simmered as he weighed the grim reality. The Krell could continue to fight, but at what cost? Their reputation as an unassailable power was already in tatters, and prolonged conflict risked total collapse. As the Krell deliberated, Earth launched its boldest move yet, a direct strike on Vraskin's orbital defenses. The Aegis led a coordinated assault, using advanced stealth technology to breach the Dominion's heavily fortified perimeter. Sato had no intention of occupying the Krell homeworld. The mission's purpose was to bring the Krell to the negotiating table. The battle was swift and decisive. Krell forces, already stretched thin, crumbled under the weight of Earth's relentless tactics. As the orbital platforms fell, Sato transmitted a message directly to Zorth. "This ends now," she said, her image projected into the Krell Council chamber. "You sought to intimidate us, to silence us. Instead, you've united us. We do not seek your destruction, but we will not stop until justice is served. The choice is yours. Surrender and face accountability, or continue this fight and lose everything." Zorth, his pride warring with the stark reality of his position, finally relented. "We will negotiate." The war ended with a historic agreement. The Krell Dominion was forced to make reparations and cede power within the Galactic Order. Earth's demands included reforms to ensure accountability for all species and protections for new members. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity, once dismissed as insignificant, reshaped the very foundation of the Galactic Order. And as the treaty was signed, a memorial for Jonathan Hale was erected on Tavax Prime, a symbol of Earth's resilience and its unshakable belief in justice. The stars would never forget the reckoning that followed his death, for in that moment, humanity proved it was not just a participant in the galaxy's future, it was a force to be reckoned with.